If you're teaching chess to a child for the first time who's never played chess before, then I'm going to show you a mini game in this video that's a great place to start. So in Acorn Chess, I'm going to go to mini games and pawns versus pieces, and we're going to select 5 pawns versus a rook. And this is a great first mini game for someone that's never played chess before. It introduces just 2 pieces, the rook and the pawn. And in the case of white, they only have 1 rook, just 1 piece to worry about, to move and play with. So that's easy. And on the black side, you've got the 5 pawns. In fact, it can be sometimes helpful to just, as the teacher or parent, maybe let the child play with the rook and you play with the pawns so they get an understanding of it, and then you can always switch over. And obviously in a group situation, you would ideally, having used Acorn Chess to explain it, you then actually get them to play on a real chess set against each other and learn by doing that. So let's have a look at what the mini game is about. In Acorn Chess here, it explains the rules. So it says you win if you get a pawn to the far end safely. So if one of these black pawns gets all the way to the far end, then black would win. The second win condition is you win if you can capture all of your opponent's pieces. So if black with one of the pawns is able to capture the white rook, black would win. Likewise, if white was able to capture all of the black pawns, then white would win. And finally, you would win if your opponent can't move. So nice and simple rules. What we're going to do here is just click on the rook, and this is helpful. It's going to show you the squares it can go to. So if you're not familiar with how the pieces move yourself as a parent, teacher, then you can just click on the piece, it'll show you, and then you can make a move and explain to the children the possible squares the rook can go to, and you pick a square. And then in this case, we see that we have the engine activated and it makes a move for black. It moves one of the pawns 2 squares. If you want to, you can switch the engine off. And we'll explain why that might be helpful, just switching the engine off here, and we'll say update, so there's now the engine's off. If we now make a move, so it's white to turn, that's another important concept to teach for the first time, is taking turns. White takes a move, then black takes a move, then white again, and so on. So that's an important concept. If we click on the white rook, again, we see all the squares it can move to. Let's say we move it to here. And now if you were to click on the black pawns, and this is why it's good to have the engine off, we can click on one of the black pawns and it shows you the 2 squares. In this case, it can move forwards 1 or 2 squares. If we click on any of these, you'll see that this one can only move forward 1 because the rook is blocking it, and this one can move forward 2. If we click on this one, again, it's already moved 2 squares. It can only move forward 1 square at a time. So you don't have to worry about that too much. At least by using Acorn Chess here, you can explain to the children that at the beginning it can move up to 2 squares, and then from then on it just moves 1 square at a time. So again, helpful to have that capability to remind everybody how the pieces move. So again, looking at the top bar here, we see the black square, and it says at the bottom as well, black to move. So let's make a move with black, and we'll go here. We'll make a move with white now, move the rook again. We can see all the squares it can go to. Let's just play a couple more moves. So let's now say black moves the pawn forwards here. And let's say that white decides to move the rook to this square. Now this could be an interesting moment where you can show very easily here that if you click on this black pawn, you'll see that red circle on top of the white rook. This is how pawns capture diagonally. So in this case, this pawn can actually capture the rook and win. So let's do that. And there you go, game over, black wins. So that's a good way to just maybe play through a few moves and learn yourself how the pieces move as the parent or the teacher, but also helping the children learn as well. Once you've explained it, maybe you can practice against some of the children or get them to play against each other. They might make mistakes, that's okay. If you've got this on a screen, it's got the rules here they can refer back to, so that's a good visual aid. Also, if you're maybe teaching them at home as a parent, you could actually have them play with the engine on against Acorn Chess. Maybe that's a good way for them to practice and learn on the computer before they try and play perhaps over the board. So a few different options. Again, you can always click play again to reset the game and start from the beginning. But this is a good starting mini game to help children learn chess for the first time. It's one I've certainly used very successfully when explaining chess to someone that doesn't know how to play chess and learning how the pieces move. So it's definitely a tried and tested and effective mini game. And again, with Acorn Chess, you've got an easy way to introduce them to the rules and explain how to play it. So that's the mini game I wanted to explain, the 5 pawns versus rook. There's obviously lots of other mini games, and we'll go through others in other videos. If you haven't done so already, feel free to download Acorn Chess for free from acornchess.com. And of course, you can subscribe to the channel follow more videos that we have coming up in the future. Thanks for watching.